So, we all think we know the story of the Renaissance, right? You know, that incredible explosion of art and creativity that basically shaped the modern world. But today, we're going to challenge that story a little bit. We're going to uncover a quiet literary revolution that might just be the true spark that lit the whole fire.
We're taught that the Renaissance was this amazing reimagining of classical Greece, but all within a Christian context. But what actually set it off? What was the catalyst? Well, it turns out the official story, it might be missing a really crucial piece of the puzzle. The go-to explanation, the one we all get in school, is that the Renaissance wasn't sparked by just one thing. Instead, it was this perfect storm of cultural, historical, and economic trends all colliding at the exact same time. And this theory points to a bunch of key factors. You've got scholars fleeing Constantinople, carrying all these priceless Greek texts with them. The Crusades accidentally exposed Europe to the Islamic Golden Age. You had city-states like Florence and Venice in this fierce competition, which just drove all kinds of innovation. Then you get wealthy patrons like the Medicis bankrolling the arts. And of course, the printing press, which spread knowledge like wildfire. It sounds like a pretty solid theory, right? Case closed? Well, what if that perfect storm was missing its lightning? What if all those things were just the right ingredients, sitting there, waiting for a single spark to ignite a revolution? I'm going to argue that the one factor missing from the textbooks, the real catalyst, was a poet, Dante Alighieri. And this is a big claim, but I'm suggesting that without his masterpiece, the Divine Comedy, the Renaissance as we know it, well, it might not have happened at all. And the first clue is right here on the timeline. Just look at these dates. Dante was born way back in 1265. That's almost 200 years before Leonardo da Vinci. He's the first domino to fall. He's the one who lays the intellectual groundwork for all the giants who would come after him. So where do we actually see Dante's influence? Well, the most dramatic evidence is in the art. The Renaissance triggered this radical shift in how people saw the world, and art was the main way they expressed that change. It was a huge move away from these abstract divine ideas and toward deeply, deeply human stories. You see, medieval art was very static, very symbolic. It was all about inspiring awe. Renaissance art, on the other hand, is dynamic and it's emotional. It tells human stories that are designed to be compelling, to pull you right into the scene. Just think about the stained glass in a medieval cathedral. The light pours through, creating this blinding, awesome effect. You're not supposed to participate. You're just supposed to submit, to feel small and insignificant before the power of God. Now, contrast that with a Renaissance painting. It's compelling. It uses perspective and drama to draw you in. It's curious, packed with details that make you want to investigate, to ask questions, and to really engage with the human story being told. A perfect example is Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. So many earlier versions of the scene gave every single figure a halo, that divine symbol. But Leonardo gets rid of them, and what's left? Just raw, unfiltered humanity. You can feel the anxiety, the confusion, the drama. It's a story about people. Now, a change this huge in art doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It reflects a much deeper shift in philosophy and theology. So the big question is, what changed in how people understood their relationship with God? Okay, so for centuries, the worldview of St. Augustine was completely dominant. He argued that humanity was just inherently flawed, and our only path was total submission. Basically, we were slaves to God. But then Dante comes along and offers this totally revolutionary alternative. He says we have an immortal soul that comes directly from God, and our whole purpose is to use our free will to grow through love. We're not slaves, we are free. And you can see this evolution so clearly in the answer to a central Christian question. Why did Jesus die? For St. Paul, it was to redeem our sins. Augustine's ransom theory took that a step further. He said God literally paid our debt to Satan, which made us his property. But Dante reframed the whole thing. It wasn't a transaction. It was the ultimate act of divine love, a lesson to teach us how to find our own path to redemption. In the Divine Comedy, Dante straight up says that God's greatest gift wasn't obedience, it was free will. The freedom to choose, to mess up, to learn, and to love. This single idea becomes the engine of humanism and really the entire Renaissance. So the ultimate proof of Dante's revolution, this new confidence in the human intellect, it isn't in a book. It's actually hidden in plain sight, on the ceiling of maybe the most sacred space in the entire Catholic Church, the Sistine Chapel. We all know this image. It's iconic. The creation of Adam. It's arguably the most famous painting in the entire world, and it was completed by an artist, Michelangelo, who just happened to be a devoted student of Dante. But I want you to look closer. What if there's a secret hidden in this image? A message that Michelangelo painted right there in front of the Pope? Look at the shape that's formed by God, his flowing cloak, and the angels around him. It's not just some random cloud. It's a perfect, anatomically correct cross-section of the human brain. The brainstem, the cerebrum, it's all there. Michelangelo literally hid it in plain sight. And the implication of this is just staggering. It perfectly captures the legacy of Dante's Revolution. Our concept of God, our ability to even imagine the divine, it comes from our own minds. The idea that the human intellect is the true creative force in the universe. And to paint that on the ceiling of the Vatican? Well, that is the quiet triumph of Dante's vision. So this all leaves us with a pretty powerful question. You have a new vision of humanity, of freedom, of love, first dreamed up by a poet. And it ripples through the centuries, inspiring the world's greatest artists and thinkers. It kind of suggests that the most powerful force for change isn't an army or an empire, but a truly revolutionary idea. So, can a single poem remake the world? It really seems like the answer is yes.